Good morning, peoples. I hope your day is going just fine. I know mine is. It's a little wet, soggy outside. It's been raining a lot. I call it, instead of April showers bring May flowers, it's May showers bring June flowers. So I just kind of want to give you an update on my gardening. I haven't been able to video much because of just circumstances, having to plant in between raindrops and just really busy. That or being sick, or again, I hurt my back really bad. So just, haven't done any kind of videos or just nothing. Just trying to get things planted in the ground. When plant season happens, it's just a rush. And we had a lot to do other than just planting. We had building to do, and my husband did that on his 9-day vacation. And he did a lot of building for me. And I just, and I really appreciate the fact that his time off could have been for relaxing, but instead he just built up the garden stuff. And then a shout out to Donnie. Donnie helped my husband do it, and so I really appreciate it. My husband picked me up some elephant ears. That's a weeping hose, so we have it around the elephant ears because they like a lot of water and they like a more of a shaded area. In fact, these things grow really well in swampy, next to ponds areas. But in the wintertime, I will dry out the bulbs and then put them in a box and let them basically go to sleep, hibernate, whatever you want to call it, over the winter, and then I will bring them out in spring and replant them. So over here is new. These are okra. They take a long time to grow, and so they're just now starting to come up. As you can see, they're starting to come up. There's some areas that haven't come up yet, but most areas, and I can see them coming up. If you look really, really, really close, you can see the babies. They're starting to come up, like right there. There's a itty bitty baby. Let's see, there you go. There's an itty bitty baby down there. Several of them. This fencing is just a plastic fencing. I put it around to keep the dogs out, and it seems to be working. But I'll be able to open it up on that side and get in here, and then on the other side. A shout out to Diggit Homestead. She asked me how my garden was doing, and I guess I've been kind of late on doing videos on my gardening. Again, it has been just raining nonstop. I told my husband the other day, I just might need a canoe to be able to get around if it keeps going. Now, I am very happy about the rain, so don't get me wrong. It was just kind of like a little bit of a joke. These are my potatoes. They're coming up. They're doing really well. Then here's another one. And then I have potatoes in the backyard that I'll try to get a video of, but they're coming up as well. You can kind of see them in there. These are my other potatoes. They're freebies. These are the potatoes that they were going bad, and I had tossed them out in my compost, and I seen them starting to grow, so I decided to help them out. So I have potatoes here too. This is the raspberry bush. It took about 3 years for it to really start growing, but it has just exploded this year. And put a little bit of acidic fertilizer in it, and it has just gone nuts. This here is just for the wildlife, the water. I just want to make sure they have something to drink. This is a habanero plant. I find that peppers and tomatoes grow really well in buckets, but that's a habanero. This one right here is a habanero. Jalapeno. Another jalapeno. I wasn't going to grow any peppers or tomatoes this year, but my husband had other ideas. This is a cherry tomato plant. It's called a yellow cherry. This one here is another yellow cherry. This is another, let's see, this one is a golden jubilee. And here's my blueberries. Very acidic soil. And I also have acidic fertilizer for this thing, but that's exactly what they need. And you can see the berries are starting to form. They're doing great. I got these at half price because they were almost dead. And I brought them home and cleaned them up and took care of them. Now they're growing like a weed, which is a good thing. This is another jalapeno, and you can see one growing on it right there. That's another jalapeno, and you can see the little nodules they're starting to produce. And around here is my habanero plants. There's one right there. There's one right there. In that back garden where the okra is, I have ground cherries, which are yummy. This is my herb area, my herb garden. Each one of these pots, stackables, was $1.25. I think we spent about, besides the dirt, we spent about $20 to build this, maybe less. We have a post in the middle, and then we have it tied in the back to the fence. Because as you know, that's top heavy. But it works. There's two things that I find that there's a problem with this. One, it dries out really fast, so you have to water it daily. And by the way, there's holes drilled in the bottom of these, one hole each, and they still dry out every day. So you have to water it every day, and you have to tie it to something because it's top heavy. But other than that, it does great. And it's a good way of doing your herb garden without having it all over the place. And you can see all the way around. These are little cherry tomatoes plants. I got them for half off because they were pretty much dead when I got them, and you can see they're doing really well. I just took off all the limbs, took everything off all the way down to the base, the main stalk, and then just let it redo, because some of the stuff that I didn't take off, you can see the difference. There's that versus that. But I didn't want to take those off because that was more of the base area, and I didn't want to do any more damage to it than what they'd already done. I got this at Lowe's for 50% off. In fact, I have a nice ripe one right there. They are yummy. This is also new. I have a video of my husband and Donnie building the hoop and putting the fence up around it. This is my salad area. I'm not sure why this happened. I think a squirrel got in here. I'll go ahead and plant that back down. But this is my salad area. So everything in here is basically just for my salad alone, other than the green beans. This is also the salad area. I have carrots and I have radishes. I got green beans. And I got a few other things in here. Swiss chard. That's Swiss chard right there. And you can see how the green beans are starting to grab onto the fencing. And that's kind of the plan. It has been raining so much. And I've been worried about these guys because there's just so much water. I gotta get in here and weed it all. I was gonna put some weed barrier down, but I'm telling you, I was just too tired. And then we have our vegetables planted in here. And again, I gotta weed everything. Now, a lot of this, it looks like grass, but that's actually scallions, green onions. Just a lot grown in here. My husband wanted a lot. My husband built this. It's just like a little hoop house without the plastic. He put fencing up around, and that's just so the plants that we have for climbers can grow up and around. Because I am doing loofahs, and I'm doing watermelon and pumpkin. And then he put stone in. We also have the weed barrier down, but he put stone in as well. That took 16 bags. Most of the soil, 90% of the soil, is from my hill out back, my compost, and that's what I use for inside here. Now, he did get some Miracle-Gro and some topsoil to finish up a few of the beds, and then every bed has Miracle-Gro in it as well. And then I have this over here, which I'm not going to open yet. It's only 60 degrees outside. But this is going to be my germination area. Basically, that's just putting the plants out here. We have a little heater down here. That way we can keep them warm when we're starting it in the end of February, first part of March. And then I have thermometers too. One for me to tell what it is on the inside there when I'm in there. And then one that'll tell me in my house what the temperature is in there as well. And then he got me some flowers, just kind of to pretty up the area. And this well, I love the sound of it. Just don't have to go to the bathroom. When you hear the sound, you'll be racing for the bathroom. And then he got me a hummingbird feeder, which he comes out every once in a while, and I'll see him. Just a little thing. He's so cute. And then here's some more flowers. And then he got me this gazebo, and he built it, well, he put it together. And then there's some of my other plants. And then he got me a little compost bin right here, so I don't have to go all the way out back, or Donnie, go all the way out back and toss our scraps out there. I just have that right there. The only thing you don't put in it is like meats and stuff, but you can put like vegetable clippings, grass clippings, things like that in there. And I also got a couple dozen worms in there, so that way they can compost that up pretty quickly. And then I have string of pearls, and then I have a huge, beautiful flower thing right there. And it looks like somebody took a white paintbrush with purple flowers in front of them and soaked it with white paint and then flung it on the flowers. It was so pretty. Where I got it from, the lady kept wanting me to buy these striped ones. I'm like, no, I want something that looks like somebody just splattered paint all over them. And so that's what I got. And then I got my ferns up there. You can see the ferns growing. So that is my garden. I got asked about it by Dig It Homesteading, and I know I haven't been doing a lot of videos on it, but just recovering from being in the hospital and then all the rain and just how busy we are, I just didn't have time to film. And then I hurt my back really bad, so I was down for about a week or two with that, and it's been a rough spring to get things started, but they're going, and I only have a couple more things to plant, and then I'm good to go. I've planted a lot of different stuff. The buckets are, peppers and tomatoes and whatever, but I have bell peppers in the greenhouse that's, I wish I could open it now. It's too early. It's only, it's like 60 degrees out, but it's wet and it's just kind of chilly. It feels like more like 50. So I'm going to keep the greenhouse closed for a little while, or I would show you it. But I do have some things still growing in there. I am going to give away a lot of my starts that I don't need because I've already got them in the ground or in the beds. And I'm just going to give them away to people that want them. So that way, they have starts. I always start extra because you never know what the germination rate's going to be for a specific vegetable plant. And so that's the thing. That's what I'm going to be doing. And that is my garden. And as you notice, that the main part of the yard is still open. But my husband now is already talking about me producing a lot more next year to be able to supply us with almost a year's worth of vegetables, if not a year. But that's going to be a lot more. I mean, I read where you have to have a lot of green beans plants just for one person to supply for the year. So I just, I'll have to really do some thinking. I know that he wants to do a 21 bucket stand with wheels, but we'll see. Like every plant, everything that you plan, it's always subject to change, which is fine. In fact, my husband was going to build it this year, but I just told him, I said, we spent enough on this garden that, we're good. We don't have to continue. We can just go ahead and next year, do the 21 bucket. We can pick up a little bit of the wood, maybe weekly, bi-weekly, once a month, and that way the cost won't be so much when you go to start building it. And we'll do that over the winter. That way, come spring, we'll have what we need and we can build it. Now, we may have to go to Home Depot or Lowe's to get, I don't know, maybe a hook of some sort or something. You never get everything you need the first time getting your stuff from Home Depot or Lowe's. You always end up having to go back at least once or twice. And as you can see, it is just wet out. It rained all night, and it's just been doing that a lot. That's why I have been joking and saying, instead of April showers bring May flowers, I've been saying May showers brings June flowers, because it's been just cold and wet. And again, I'm not complaining about the rain, because two things. One, we need the rain because of last year being so dry. And two, I don't have to water the garden. The only thing I have to worry about is making sure the well has enough water. And I think that's pretty much all I got to worry about. I'm thinking. Is there anything else I got to water? No. Nothing else I have to water. And that is what it looks like. I do like to keep the middle of the yard free for the doggies, so that way they can play. It's very important that they come out and play, because if they're wore out, they're not getting into something in the house. Okay, friends, this is my garden for 2024. I didn't expect it to be this big this fast, because we were going to do a little at a time, but I'm extremely happy with the way it turned out. I'm doing a little bit of bucketing. I'm doing some Back to Eden garden, which is over there. And I'm also doing raised beds. And all I got to plant now is my sun gold. And I got one loofah and two loofahs actually in the house, getting ready to come out. Just in case the one loofahs that I have in there doesn't do anything, I have backup. Because I do want to sell loofahs, for washing your body. I want to sell, little chunks of loofahs for that. And then in the greenhouse, my Drosera, the babies, the seeds. It's a test to see if it works. But I have them in there, and we'll see what happens. Thank you, friends, for spending time with me today. If you're new here, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hit the all button. And this is my watchdog. She chases the squirrels out of the yard. She protects the yard. We call her the garden protector. But she goes after the birds and the squirrels to keep them out of the yard.